Hey, Linda. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. I never did decide what I wanted to make today. I feel like doing something a little different, but I don't know what I want to do. So give it a little more thought, I guess. But I do want to make something. I'm just not sure what. I've been debating getting out my Dusty Rose kit since we really haven't done much with it, and seeing what we can quickly figure out for it. I actually want to use these coral beads, I think, but I'm not sure what I want to do with them. So, thank you. I did those, I'm not sure how long ago. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Donna. Hey, Helen. Hi, Bonnie. There's a video back in the days about, hey, Marianne, about when I made these, but I can't remember how far back it is. But hey, Mary. So I talked to Randee for a few minutes today, and she said that her and Jefferson were heading to the cities for some more tests. And she was hoping that by Monday she'd have some news. So can I make wired hearts? I can, but I've actually have a few old videos with necklaces with hearts that I made hearts on, but it's been a while since I made one. Hey, Becky. What was that, PK? Meeting with one of the local TV stations to get ads going again. Oh, she wants to put Keo in them. That'd be cute. So, I've been trying to decide what I want to do here. That's the damaged one. Because I don't want to do anything really difficult. I just am not in the mood for it. But, hey, Lori. Like I said, I did a video making these some time ago. You're gonna have to get Keo a personal assistant now because he's a star. I think that's cute. Anyway, the earrings I made some time ago in a video. In fact, I think there might be two videos making these and one similar, because I made some. Rebecca, the Mastics, ordered a pair from me that I made for her with blue instead of these are garnet on mine. So they were a lot of fun to make. They're just hammered wire and then wire wrapped, looped around and wire wrapped with the garnets, and then they have the little dangles in both, this here with a little bit of chain and down here. I made them with one of my bargain bead boxes because I remember this little piece on the bottom was from the bargain bead box, and I think the garnets probably were too. Maybe we'll just make those little bookmarks Want to make them? uh, Today, they take a little bit of time, but we could. I'm not sure if this kit has anything tiny enough. Well, we've got these little crystals that we could use as... We have time. Do we now? Well, let's see what we've got in our Dusty Rose package, and we'll see what we can do. It sounds like everybody would like to make them, so they're not... Hey, Dorothy. They're not really difficult. They're just, well, you know, there's a couple of different parts, so they're a little time consuming, but... So, let's turn down, we'll look through the box, see what we've got that might work for these earrings, and for some similar to them anyway, and maybe we'll do that. Oh no, Cindy, you need to be careful. Is your shoulder all right? Your dog barks at you, Beth? I'm sorry to hear that, Cindy, that your shoulder is hurting. Hopefully it's not too horribly bad and you can get that taken care of. I agree with PK and Beth. Go have it checked out. You know, you've broken it before. You don't want to, you know, we don't want any... Oh, you need to have surgery? Yeah, I hear you. My doctor, my orthopedic surgeon wants to do a knee replacement on my right knee, but I've been sort of putting that off. Hi, Cynthia. So let's look at the kit. Let's see what we can figure out. And I wonder if I have any copper wire. Not sure I do. Always nice to have your credit card still around, isn't it? So, well, let's turn down. Did you? Both of them? Ugh. Whoa-ho. Good to hear that your heat has gone up, Mary, in your house. That's always nice. Hey, Anita. Hi, Angel. So if we want to make these earrings, I need to find something for the dangles, and I need to decide on what beads to wrap them with, and we got to decide on a color because I'm not sure I have any copper square wire, and I'm pretty sure I made these with square wire, but it might be round that I just pounded, and I know I have copper round. Let's see. No, it's round. It's just pounded just a teeny bit to square it off some, so that's good. So let's turn down and see what we can find to use. Okay, here's my Dusty Rose kit. Here's the earring. I pulled it off so that we could look at it some. So, come here, baby. Hang right. So as you can see, we have the 2 loops on either side. This one has just been, it's just twisted so that it makes that loop there. And then this one has got a point down at the bottom so the dangle stays in place, which of course the wire wrapping helps it stay in place too. So, and this wire wrapping is done in just one wrap up here and then two down here so that we didn't have to cross over where the little loop was going to be at. And we got a little chain to hang these two dangles from, the one at the top and the one below. These are the same beads as around here. So we just have to decide what we want to do here. So I've got these little crystals that were in the bag. They're not a gemstone, they're crystal, but they still would work. And then we have these little guys that could go the bottom dangle. Ta-da. So we actually could put these up higher too if we wanted to, but I usually put little gemstones up there or little crystals, whichever we're using, as the case may be. We also have the black spinel, but I think these might be a little bigger than I want to use. Though they would work. What do you guys think? The black spinel or the little pink and copper crystals? The pink? Okay, we can go with the pink. They're a little smaller and I think they'll look a little better anyway. So let's put these things up. I think we've got what we need out of here. And look, bizarrely enough, there is not one single spacer in these earrings. So the first thing we need to do, set those aside a little bit, is, let's see, I have some 20 gauge copper here. I may use this 16 because since we're going to wire wrap around it, it's nice and thick. We don't have to worry about it any. But let's see, I think I have I need some smaller copper wire to do the wraps. I think I have, that's 22. We don't want 22. I want like 24 or 26. Oh, come on, copper, where are you at? I know I got a whole bunch of different sizes of wire in here. Just gotta find the right one. 15. I might rather use 20 than 16. Boy, if I don't find some tinier wire here, I may have to wrap with a different color. Oh, there we go. There we go. Knew I had some in here, just had to find it. Sorry about that, guys. So, copper. Ta-da! Hey, Gloria. Hey, Valerie, I didn't see you sneak in. So we need to make these loops here first. That's the first thing we need to do. I can't remember how much wire I used. Guess I'll just do a quick measurement around them. It's been a while since I made these, so it's probably about 4 inches. Come on, stay up at the point. Yeah, I'd say it's about 4 inches. Probably both sides are about 4 inches. So. Not you. You go over here for right now. Hey, Valerie. You finally figured out the time? It was good to see Randee last night. I'm not sure what the problem is. She did tell me that she would this morning that they were heading into the cities for her tests, and they might know more that they can tell us on Monday. So let's hope for the best. Still send some prayers her way. Always good to have those prayers, you know. So we're going to cut 4 pieces of 4. Cut the little notch off first. Boy, this wire's not the straightest in the world, is it? So this is Softlex bare copper in 20 gauge that we're using here for this portion. So what we need to do, straighten these some is what we need to do. But most of its imperfections are going to get hidden by the wire wrapping and the pounding and all that stuff. So I'm not really worried about it. But okay. So we need to get our something behind me fell. Interesting. We need to more or less find the middle of each one, which since we cut 4 inches, they're going to be 2. And we'll make a little mark. Ooh, one of those looks to be a little bit shorter than the other one, so we'll worry about it later. So 2. Now with the 2, what we're going to do is 2 of them are going to get that loop up at the top, and 2 of them are going to get this little bend right here to start with. So I'm going to get my bell making pliers out, and we're going to use this one, the second one rather than the first one. And I'm going to just put that right on the loop there and just bring her around. So she looks like so. So just grab a second one right on the mark and up and around and over. Bring you up. There we go. So 2 of those. I didn't straighten this one out as much as the other one, but it doesn't matter because we're going to round it anyway. Now the other one needs the bend, so I'm going to get my flat nose pliers out. We're going to grab it right on this one side. Come on. And bend. And that's not quite in the center, but, and if you want to be more careful, just, there we go. So there's our bend. Ta-da. Okay, so next we need to round them out. Yowzers, Cindy, 3 to 6 inches of rain? So yeah, I'm covering for Randee today, tomorrow, and Friday. I am going to not be doing my normal videos because of that, other than of course our members live will still happen. But so now we're going to take these, come here you, and we want to wrap them into the loopy shape here. I think I used wider wire when we did the other ones, but now see, this one is more rounded on one side than the other. I probably squished it with my finger a little bit. Let's see. There we go. It's more like it. So let's see, I was in the second one, wasn't I? Go down. Yeah, on the second one. This is the one I straightened some, and it's not real straightened, so I'm going to fix it a little bit. So I want that little curve, so we're going to just push our thumb right down in here and pull our wire a little bit as we do. So it makes that little curve area there. This one's almost got it. This one has a little bit more to go. Now it is, when I pound it, it is going to change its shape a little bit, so we'll have to reform it some, and that's okay. It's the way it works. Now this one is going to be the same, except for the loop is going to be the middle up there. So we're just going to hold the loop here. And we're going to go on, wrap it from either side here. Come on, don't roll over on me there. Okay, we need to turn the other way. So then we're going to roll this one around. Ta-da. Oh, there we go. So there are those. We'll keep this handy because we're going to need it again. And this is going to come down. This is more than I wanted it to be, more rounded. So we'll bring it down some more. Looks like one side might be a little longer than the other. It is, so we're going to have to trim that down. Now this is craft wire, so it's really malleable. So we definitely, even if I wasn't going to hammer it, I would, to flatten it some, I would want to hammer it to make it a little stiffer. So I'm going to trim these off a little bit so they're more or less the same. That looks good. This one's still longer. We cannot be having longer. I think I flipped them. They look about the same. So anyway, come back here, you. Now we need to put the loops in top at the top. So I'm just going to take my pliers again. I'm going to use the second size, and we're going to just do little loops going in like so. So there's the shape for the bottom one here. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to you guys. I'll look in just a second. And we'll want to shape these pretty close to the same size. Now they need a bit more flat right here, and then round back out this way. So flat right here and round this way. The wire mandrel is really helpful, but I find that I like my fingers to do most of the work because they seem to behave a little better. Oops, up here a little more. There. Let's see how you guys are in comparison. Not there. We need to bring this flat again more here. Better. It's a bit better. These need to come in a little bit. Okay. So now when I get these hammered, these will have to go in some, or these will have to come out some, so that their circles pretty much match up. Still not. Okay. Something looks off here, but I'm not sure what. So we got to get our steel block out now because we're going to have to hammer these. We'll get our chasing hammer out too. Let's see. Okay. Ah, so you have a show on this coming week, Mary? That's cool. Hey, Tina. Is it already Chinese New Year? Just cooking bacon, huh, Gloria? So we'll get our little wires out here. And we want to, oops, that bungled. Now, when you hammer right here, you have to be careful because hammering them together like that will it will, they'll sink into each other, so that makes a weaker spot in your wire. So you don't want to hammer it too much or you will break it, especially this thinner 20 gauge. Give me the piece. Okay, we'll do this one. Now see how that just changed its shape a little bit? I'm going to have to play with that a bit when we get to that point. One thing I have learned through the years too is when you're hammering, start at the bottom and work your way up, if you can remember to do that, because it stretches the wire a little bit. So if you start at the bottom on both sides, it stretches about the same. So now we have to sort of get these back into shape. So this one is a little bit wider, I think, because it doesn't look like it's as far apart as far as the loops are concerned. So we need to, weird, because they look the same here, but they don't there. That's all right, as long as they match up there. So this one widened out quite a bit, it looks like, than the other one. So we're going to need to play with one or the other of these. I think we'll go with this one, see if I can get this loop to go into here better. Now remember, you've got it hardened. It's not gonna move as much as it did before. Let's see if I can. We want these to be pretty much the same, though we're not going to get identical twins, let's face it. But we can hopefully get a little more closer. Come on, you. Don't like to be compared to each other, do they? I think that'll be close enough probably, though this side is still a little more rounded than that side is. It's better. There we go. So those are much closer. They're not perfect, but they're closer. And as you can see, I've got them pretty well lined up as far as their loops are concerned. Flip you over. So they'll line up like so. Hey, Angela. So now we're going to get out these little guys. I've got a little hunk of copper underneath my finger now. So our next step is to wire wrap all of our little beads around the edges. So as I said, we're going to start and we're going to wrap the whole thing, as long as I remember to cut enough wire, around this. And as we go up around here, we'll do a couple of loops around our head up there to keep that tightly together. And then we'll do these two in 2 pieces. And then this will dangle here. And it looks, because of the way the jump ring is going, we're going to have to do a double jump ring here so that we get it facing the right direction. And then we will also need to find a little bit of chain. I have some copper, but well, that might be fine, because I was going to say it's antique copper, but then so are these pieces, so that's fine. Then we'll do a little wind up of a couple of little beads for the top and the bottom here. So let's cut these little guys loose here from their string and get some of the little wire out, which is 26 gauge. Actually, come down here, Trey. You can gather these beads up because they'll go everywhere once I cut the string. Escapee. See, this one's on the string here. So there we go. And the last little bit here on this side. So now we need to get some of this out. It's going to try and unwind on me. Oh, not as bad as I expected. And we want a pretty good sized length, not so long that it's going to drive you nuts, but still. So we'll start down here on one side, and we want like 3 or 4 loops of wire. Now I'm holding on to the end of the wire here because it's going to try and spin at first and go wherever it feels like it. So you want to hold this little tail you leave here, slide it down into place. Now it won't slide as much because we've flattened it so it's not round. So now we're just going to put our beads on. Slide that baby down on there. And then we're going to hold this in place while we come around and do our what I call the holding loop. Then I do a second one, and then we'll come up and put on next bead. Frankly, I think this is probably going to be a little boring to watch, to be truthful with you, because we're just going to go and do loop, loop, bead, all the way up and around. Now, if you get them starting to spread a little more than you want, just push them together a little bit. So. Now, right now, I'm not paying attention to how many beads I'm putting on. I'm just letting it get a nice, uh-oh, that didn't grab the bar. A nice spread here. But as soon as I'm done with this spread, I am going to count them because I'm going to want the same amount on the other side. So there is my... Oh, that came undone right here on this wire. See how there's only one wire here? So we want to back that out, and I just cut the beads with my wire here. See if we can get that wire loop back in place. There we go. Now get the bead back up here and bring her into place. Now, when you do things like that, like I just did by unwinding and putting another um, spin in there, you have to be careful because this is thin wire and it might try and break on you. So. Okay, we're at the top. We're just going to go around here. Oops, I bent that a little bit. So we got 6 beads on this side. So now we're going to come up and I'm going to go around the head of my piece just a little bit there. Keep these in check here. So now we want to put 6 down the other side. Now these are mobile to a degree. See how I've got that a little spread more than normal, so I'm going to just push that up there a little bit till it's more of like where I want it. And if they're, your wraps make the beads sit a little unevenly, you can always wiggle them to a degree to get them into where you want them. You'll notice I've been holding the bead so that it doesn't roll around too much when I'm wrapping around. Now last bead. Now I'm going to put this one on, and then I'm going to wrap, instead of just the 1, 2, I'm going to do 4, just like so that it's going to end up sort of like the other side is with 4 wraps on it. Actually, the only other side looks like it only has 3, but that's all right. We can fix that by just taking our tail and bringing it around. So there we go. Now we'll cut these. Oops, I just spread that with my pliers, something fierce. Squish these little wires down. Now this side is ready to go, but I think I spread that a little bit with my pliers, and so I need to accidentally when I caught into it. So there we go. You guys get out of the way so I don't catch you with something. So this is this one's first half. These can sit aside too because we're going to not worry about those quite so much yet. Okay, now we're going to do this side. That one side just looks funky to me, but $12 for a dozen eggs, Gloria? Oh, God. $6.89 is bad enough. Gosh, it wasn't that long ago they were 99 cents. I hate the way things have gone up in price. Hey, Carrie. Hey, Crafton. So now we're going to start the bottom two pieces here. And we're going to do that more or less the same, except for instead of wrapping around the head and coming down, which would be the point here, we're going to stop at either end because we want those wraps to hold our loops, the jump ring, from going to either side. Try to go to either side. So we'll just do the same as we did up above, and we'll take our wire and we'll wrap 4 wraps. Push them all together and push them all the way up here. Now we'll grab our beads and go down the side here. Come here, you. Hold the bead and then go through. One of the nice things about these is you have those gaps up at the top, so you can swing your wire through and you don't have to push it through a hole. So that always makes it a lot simpler to do. Let the bead go. That's not good because it tries to slide everywhere then. So you want to hold on to your bead. Now you can do this with little tiny gemstones like I did with this one, or these little rondelle crystals. You could use bicones if you would have a bicone color you really like. That would work too. So it looks like we're at one more crystal to go. Now we reached the end down here, so I'm going to do my 4 wraps. No, don't go over your buddy. And we'll cut the wire off. So then if you feel that they're a little bit more spread than you want, you can always adjust to the spread here a little bit. So cut this baby off. And we'll leave a little tail because that's easiest when we get to the point where we need to fix it again. Now we're going to just go over to the other side. Now you could have done a wrap across here, but then that would have left some wire here, making it thicker for when you go and try to jump ring your piece on. So that is why I broke it right here. So we'll then put another 4 wraps on this side. Now that tried to go over itself and I had to tell it couldn't do that. So now we'll start beating this up this side. Quite frankly, this wrap is what takes the longest, in my opinion, when you're making these. So go down to where you belong, little bead. There we go. So you want to come next, huh? Looks like we got 7 on this side, so we need 5 more. I do believe this is the last one we need. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So on, and then the 4 wraps. Like that last one went over the top of its buddy. We don't want that. So let's move it down a little bit there. There we go. So now we have to trim the wires off. Ta-da! Is that what you want, Marianne? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that your COPD is hitting you, Bonnie. I hope you feel better. So now we want to cut all these little excess wires off and tuck this in. So if this slid down into the loop, we're going to have to move that up. There we go. Or not the loop, but the V. Come on, baby. So now we'll take our pliers and tuck all those little wires in better. Be careful while you're tucking your little wires that you don't crunch a bead. Because at this stage, if you crunch a bead, you'd have to start the wire wrap all over again because, well, you know, it would be in the way. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay. Okay, next stage. Now we have to make sure, you can go away, that our pieces are close to similar. There we go. And now the next step is to jump ring these together right here and then putting on our little odds and end pieces. Now see this little piece right here, this chain piece, is actually in our loops on either side. So we can decide how much chain we need and cut a little piece off here from here to here. Come here. And we don't need a very long piece because we want it to sit relative, so our little loop is going to hit right there. So that looks good about right there. So I'm going to cut that chain right there. And then I'm going to count my links so I can make my second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks like 12. So we'll cut another 12 piece for our other earring. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put that up there. Now we'll also need a little teeny piece up here at the top, only like 3 or 4 loops. I think that one has, let's see, how many did I have in this one? 1, 2, 3, looks like 3. So we'll just cut 3 loops off for in the top up there. So we need to get some jump rings, and we're going, and some, a couple of little tiny head pins to put these little pieces on, which is just going to be a crystal. So it will go on top and bottom like so, and this is going to dangle down. In the middle here. Now if you wanted something a little bigger, because you know you do have that pretty good size span there, you could put something a little bigger in there if you wanted to. I like to keep it pretty consistent. And then of course this needs to be have a couple jump rings and go right here. And this is slid down a little bit. I noticed we want that up here. So that this will hang right in the middle here. Thank you, Anita. I'm glad you like it. Oh, we're already over the hour. Hey, Deborah, I didn't notice you come in. Oh, yes, it is, Valerie. A bead sounding crunch is very upsetting. Unless you do it on purpose, which I have done before with seed beads. Seed beads are so cheap, I don't care if I break one of those, and I sometimes do it on purpose, like when I'm making Barbie jewelry, because sometimes you go, uh-oh, that's a little longer than I want it to be, so I need it to be a little shorter, so there's too many seed beads on one side as opposed to the other side, so intentionally break them. But, that's not something I do very often. But let's find some copper head pins. I have so many head pins up here, but of course I'm not seeing my copper. Is that them? Yes. These are regular head pins, not ball head pins. I want the balls. Well, Hector, if I don't find copper, I may have to use gold. Or I may have to use the regular ones, but got 1,000,001 head pins up here, and of course I can't find the one I want. Brass, silver. Ugh. This is called not being prepared for class. Now I have some antique copper ones but of course they're in the other room because I was organizing stuff and I don't have them out here. Just a minute. I'm going to go get them really quickly. It should take me more than a few seconds. Ta-da! So we need Well, technically we need 4, but we need 2 right now for this pair. And I doubt if I'll finish the second pair on air because we're, like I said, over the hour right now, and now I think I hardwired this directly into the little piece of chain. Yes, I did. Just take a teeny bend here at the top because I don't need a ton of wraps here. There you go. Now the one that goes up at the top, I put it in the chain, and the one that goes down on the bottom is wrapping around the chain. So I'm going to make the bottom's loop a little bit bigger. So I bring it around, and so this, we're going to wrap it up. Well, that didn't wrap very well. That's not my norm. Let's get that. Oh, I see what it did. It went down on the bar quite a bit, and we don't want that, so we have to fix that. Use your other pliers, Rose. You're much better with 2 pair of pliers. So. I gotta warn people, be careful when you're trimming your wire, because I once took and ended up cutting my loop. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So now this one is the one that's going to go on this chain here. See right through there. And that's why I made the bigger loop. See how it's barely making it through there? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to open up the one side. So just like you would a jump ring, bring it up and put the chain, come here, through that loop. Now you want to shut it up right away because you don't want your chain escaping back off of there again. Now I'm going to open the other side up. We're going to put our bead on this chain. And then take the chain and hook it to your other side here and close it back up. There's our little dangle in there. Now I probably could have used a slightly smaller chain, but I think it's all right. So now this one is going to hook straight to the bottom of this little chain. So we're going to do a regular with the regular size, but we're going to bring it around, bring her over. And when we come over here, we're going to leave a gap here because we need to go into the chain. Ta-da. Or the chain to go into it, however you want to look at it. And then we'll grab it with our pliers where they come together. And we'll wrap this one up. Come here. I ended up not needing my wire mandrel again, so I could have put it away, and it's not in my way then. So we'll give this 3 little wraps. Squish it down in there some. Go. So this is gonna now hang up here. Yeah, I heard you guys had an earthquake in up there in Massachusetts. That's weird. Now we've had them here, of course, because I live closer to the West Coast, which I used to live in Washington, and we had them quite frequently, but I haven't had one here for some time. So now we're going to take our jump rings and we're going to put our 2 pieces together here. Now on these, I used a double jump ring right here, and you can if you want to. And I might still, because, well, you know, you can. So when I put these on, I just fold these in half like this and put them. That's the easiest way to put them on, because they're side by side that way, instead of trying to be one above the other. So come on, little crystal, go back to the middle. So here's where we're at so far. Now, like I say, we can put double jump rings in here, and I might do so because I like the look of it with this kind of a thing. So again, you just fold it over like so and put your jump rings through both loops. If I'm not careful there, I'm going to be having my little crystals everywhere. Again, fold it in half, bring them together up here. Now, I want to make sure that the second one is going the same direction in both sides, so that I'm not, you know, crossing over them. You can cross them if you want to. That just makes it sort of decorative. But you do want to make sure you do the same thing on both sides. So there we have the double jump rings there. Now we're going to jump ring this little guy here at the bottom. I should have, actually, yeah, I still need to do that. And because he does have his loop going the opposite direction, he's going to need 2. now through here, and then through our piece right here. Close it up. So there is our second dangle. Oops, baby, don't flip. And now to put the last dangle in, what you've got to do is you take another jump ring, put the chain on, and now you have to go through your loop here that you made for the top. Now this is the trickiest one to put on because it wants to flip out of the way and go every which way. So come on, let me get hold of you. Dang it. Now, if you wanted to use a larger jump ring here because of this trickiness, as I say, you can always do that, because you've got to remember you're going through this weird loop up here, which has 2 hunks of wire instead of just one, and it's got a lot less space to work with, so you might want something a little bit bigger so you have some more room to work. Come on, let me get hold of that side. Did I get it closed? Yeah. So now we've got all of our hanging dangles in place. It looks like I have bent my little wire here at the bottom one because it's really crooked. Oops, you're got to go that way. Go around. There we go. So we're going to straighten the head of this pin up here some because I've got it crooked. And now I've wrapped the chain around the top again, go down there. So now there's all the bits and pieces in. We just have to put the ear wire on. Ta-da! It didn't break. It just slipped off. That's why I said it wanted to. It's a little more difficult because you have to go over the double loop and the wire wrap. So now it just needs a. Oops, facing the wrong direction here because our dangle goes this direction. Just have to get an ear wire, and this baby's done. Well, this one is. Have to do the other one still. Let's see, where's my coppers? There we go. They're in this one. So been organizing. I still have a giant mess, but I do have some things put away. Now again, this is going to need a double jump ring because I'm using a regular ear wire on this one as opposed to a post. The post, as you can see, only needs one because it's going through the circle and through this other circle. Now, if you wanted, I would be afraid I'd break it, to be truthful with you, so I'm not going to do it. You could just twist the head and make, when you put it up, go the other direction But because I've weakened it by hammering them together, I don't want to try that because I could break it. So I'm just going to get 2 more little jump rings. I think all my Tinky Tots, the 4 millimeters of this size, I don't think I have them in the antique copper. I think I just have them in bronze. Well, whoops, don't need silver. Go back up there. Boy, you're just being difficult. Yeah, that's bronze. Thought it was. But we're checking. Silver, I said I don't need you. Oh, I already put them out. Duh. So we'll just open this baby up. Goes over the loop. It's truly a pity I don't have any Tinky Tots that are this tinier size, but I don't. So I'm going to make sure that we put our ear wire on the proper way here, or we have to switch it, one or the other. So come on, get back down here. So there we go, all done. See, I didn't check this ear wire. It's fine. And I still have to put the other one together, but I don't think we're going to bother to do it today because it's already almost an hour and a half. How long are they? Let's check. From ear wire to the end, they're almost 4 inches. They're quite long. I think it's longer than my original one. A little bit. I think I had them wider, pulled wider apart on my original one. And you can still do that. So just if you want them a little wider, so a little shorter, just take your fingers and pull your pieces apart a little bit. So like that. Because your middle chain is definitely long enough to allow you to do that. And of course, having to have the double jump rings up here on the ear wire made it longer too. So now it's a little bit closer in size to this one. And when I make the second one, I will have to make sure that I, after I finish, that I spread the wires some so they give them that extra spread there to make them a little bit shorter. But now they are the ruler the right way. They're still almost 4 inches, which I prefer 3. 3 is my perfect size, but so these are definitely shoulder dusters. And we could have made them a little shorter also by cutting them, not using as long of a piece of wire. So here they are. Look, you get down here. You're twisted up. There we go. There we go. All done. So I'll have to put the other one together still. So let's turn up around, because like I say, I'll do the other one later here, so that, because they take a long time to make, obviously. So here is what its length is. Let's put it towards the one that's not got an earring on, shall we? So it would be about so long. Yeah, it's a very pretty earring. It is a little bit intricate to put it together. It's not hard. It's just more time consuming than anything. So, you know, anybody wants to try them, by all means, go for it. I will put the second earring together before we put them up. And per usual, I will put pictures of things, at least on Friday, that we make on Randee's, the Thunder Horse Descendants site, since she likes to see what we made. But thank you, ladies. But like I said, I will have to make the second one off camera, because it's already been an hour and a half, and we don't want to be here forever. So, though, they probably would have been better with the heavier duty wire that I decided not to use, because I wouldn't be able to adjust. I wouldn't be able to play with them like I do. That's true. That is true. If you didn't want to make them as long as this, you could leave off this bottom half and just hook the chain up here to this one. So, or if you like this V piece here, you can always just, you could also, if you have like little rings, you could put a little ring here and hook them onto a little ring, and then up here, as opposed to having the top piece in it all. So, but there we go. Like I said, I'm going to finish the second one off camera after a bit, and then I will post them on Randee's site on Friday, as well as on my Facebook page, my group page. And I will probably put these, since we made these with Dusty Rose beads, I'll probably put them on the Bargain Bead Box site as well. So, in case you want to see the finished pair. So there we go, all done. And I'm going to leave for the day. It's been, like I said, an hour and a half, so we've had a bit of yeah, and the other options are using different shapes of stones. Like I said, bicones work really good with a wrap, and you could put a larger stone as your dangles instead of the little tiny ones that matched the outer ones. So yeah, there's a lot of options that you can do. So thank you. So anyway, we're gonna go, and I will finish this off later, and we'll talk to you later. We see y'all later, like tomorrow morning. Bye bye.